You are a walker. Great. We love that. Okay? Lowers your dementia risk. True stat, 10,000 steps a day significantly lowers your dementia risk. Yes. It's very interesting. Now, your drinking, on the other hand, might increase it. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Right? Balance. Circulation's better. Yes, you're using glucose more efficiently, which your brain needs. Your muscles are absorbing glucose. So just think walking lowers dementia risk. Good. What else is good? Lifting weights. So you asked about it, and it is true. For you ladies and us guys as we age, osteoporosis, yes. You don't have to go on a medication, let's say, if you're diligent with your weights. You need to put some stress on the bones, Susie. So without doing any weight-bearing activity, the 3-pound dumbbells you have, same thing to like the walking starting and really the tiny habits method. Or did you read that book Atomic Habits? It was like a popular book, but the premise is basically just tiny. Yes, tiny. So if you haven't been lifting weights, those 3-pound dumbbells, which doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, various exercises. But the point is more about the consistency, because it's not the weight, it's just like building the habit. So whether it's working out, walking for instance, it's like start with a block, but at the same time every day, so that then it's 2 blocks. And on the days you don't even want to do it, just put your shoes on and go out the door at the same time. But you're building the pattern. Yes. Same for any new habit, right? Journaling, 1 line, but at the same time. Do you know how to anchor habits? Or have you ever heard that term? So let's say you want to lift some weights and you want to do it in the morning. What is something you do every morning? Like brush your teeth, coffee. So anchoring is after my coffee, because that's the anchor, that's there, I will lift weights. You have to reduce the friction. So that's the idea. Other examples at night, same thing, brush my teeth after I finish the dishes, whatever. And the fun part, what you need to do, and this has been studied, you have to celebrate after you do your new habit. But on the anchoring, right, so you've anchored your habit, you've done it, you've gone for the walk or lifted some weights. It sounds cheesy, but you celebrate, and that can be very quick, but it's all like programming your brain. So celebrate meaning like you play your favorite song or a pump-up song, or like even a quiet like a fist pump. Yeah. Something to train your brain. This is good. I did it. This is good. Reward. So there's a little bit on habits. Thank you. Good night. But there we go. That is something personally I'm trying to do that process. What else would you guys like to talk about? The talk today was going to be, originally it was like people wanted me to talk about cold plunging, sauna, right? Cool things, evidence-based. But I thought before we dive into those things, let's go with what actually really moves the needle. So, cold plunge, sauna, creatine supplementation are all good things, but the big things are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. And then the fourth pillar, I'd say, to this whole like optimal aging is good relationships. Friends, family support, something to do, a cause. Just something a purpose. Yeah. I see so many of the retired fellas in the community who work so hard and, do all they can for their families under the premise that when they retire, then they're going to live the good life, right? Take it easy. But so many of them come in depressed, can't sleep, and often it's a lack of purpose, really. Yeah, they've gone to work every day, and once they get out of that routine without that purpose, that's why there should be more clubs for those folks or activities. We're actually thinking about doing a cold plunging group for those guys. Yeah, just to get them out, get them doing stuff. But long-winded way of saying, there's an expression, don't major in the minor, right? Which basically means the minor is the cold plunge, the sauna, the supplements, all good if you're not eating right, if you're not exercising, if you're not sleeping well. There's no cold plunge or supplement that's gonna fix that. So that was the point of the first part of this talk. So exercise, nutrition. You might be wondering, what do I eat? Right? What is this healthy diet? And the truth is, there isn't one thing. But we'll keep it very simple, Susie. Whole foods. Whole foods. Not long list of ingredients, packaged foods. If it's a sweet potato, that's the ingredient. Lettuce, that's the ingredient. Chicken, right? Like just whole foods, as many plants as you can get. And another fact for you ladies, which sometimes gets neglected, protein. Protein. Yeah, you're seeing it advertised, this many grams of protein or added protein. Some of those packaged ones, though, that say, 18 grams of protein, that's great. But if it's packaged and in a wrapper, pay attention to the laundry list of ingredients. Any thoughts on what is high in protein? Fish, yes. And a lot of good omega-3, like the fatty acids for your brain. So fish, salmon, some of maybe not the nicest tasting fish, like sardines and stuff, are actually packed with those omegas. Yeah. Cashews, yep. And like walnuts, again on the fatty acids. Yes. Protein hacks, or not even hacks, but if you're curious, chicken, for sure. Tons. Yes, yeah. Basically meat. Eggs. And there was a lot of BS out there about eggs. It'll raise your cholesterol. Don't eat them. If you care about your heart, egg, right? All BS. Debunked, not true. Eggs are great. Eat them. Protein. We need cholesterol for our hormones. That's how we build hormones. So if you've been not consuming eggs, rethink it. And they're easy protein. But believe it or not, if you actually think about your protein goals, there's a thought maybe about a gram per body weight or per pound. And so that might mean like 100 grams of protein, 140. And it's very hard if you're actually paying attention to hit that number. So it's true. There's been a lot of buzz about cold plunging and a lot of buzz about, well, could it be harmful, specifically for women? So there was a guest on the Mel Robbins podcast, Dr. Stacy Sims, who recently commented on one of my LinkedIn posts. Happy about that.
Well done.
Anywho, just thought I'd throw that in there. So everybody sent me this clip because it was like, Blake, you cold plunge, and here's Dr. Stacy Sims saying Well, no, like saying, hey, maybe not for women, but it was taken out of context. So what I posted and she commented on, which was great, was that she was just explaining there's nuances between men and women. And women don't need super, super cold to have the same benefit. So you can cold plunge, but you don't need to, you see me in there in the snow and it's like, yeah, icebergs. But so that temperature is probably 2 degrees Celsius or like 34, 35. Women can get those benefits in like 50 degree water or like, 10 degrees. And for any new person, same recommendations. You don't go into the cold. Just ease in. 50 degrees, something like that. But this time of the year, being on the water, perfect. The air is it's warmer, so it's not like a big, like you come out of that cold water in the winter and it's rough. Yeah, this is a good time of year to like dip in, go up to here. Okay, next time, maybe to here, next time. But for some, they might like to ease into it. But the benefits of cold plunge are well documented in the literature. Inflammation, so if any sore muscles, joints, wonderful. The mental benefits, to me, that's the biggest one. Your dopamine, norepinephrine goes up for like 4 or 5 hours. So you feel good for that length of time, and it's not a crash. It's up, and it's wonderful. So there's the dopamine and like the neurotransmitter release. But the biggest benefit to the mental health, in my opinion, is each time you do it, you're not going to want to do it. Like the inner voice. And there's resiliency and like power in understanding that voice, because you'll hear it when you go to the gym, or like, I don't want to cook this meal tonight, I'll just skip the dishes or whatever. But it's the same voice. It's the same voice that's like, stay in bed. So when you recognize it and then start to understand, you can basically tell that voice to shut it and continue to do the hard thing that is good for you. You know it, but that voice. I've been doing this for 4 years. It's still a mental battle every time. So you can't really document that in the literature, but that's like the win. We'll even sometimes do it with folks who are refractory depression, or like they've been depressed for years, because the feel good, if you will, is instant, and they haven't felt that in years. So sometimes you need to be reminded of what awesome feels like to then know it's achievable and get back on track. So that's a little bit about cold plunging. So the question was, do you need to do sauna and cold plunge together? Like, do they go hand in hand? And you don't have to. You can cold plunge for a few minutes and not necessarily go into a sauna. People do it because A, it's enjoyable, B, you warm up faster. But there's some benefits where you get benefit by naturally warming up yourself. So when you don't go into the sauna and you naturally warm, your body, your own thermogenesis, heating yourself up, there's good benefits in that. So that's where you hear like brown fat activation, the good fat. That's what's going on when you naturally warm yourself up. But you will see people doing the cycles, and that is A, enjoyable, B, you're combining the benefits of sauna, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, because sauna is one of the, other than exercise, nutrition, and the main pillars of health, there's nothing out there like a sauna that can have an impact on your health. It's cardiovascular benefits, lower depression risk, skin, mental health. So Sauna's a big one. 40% reduction in all-cause mortality. So you live longer by sitting in a sauna.
By staying warmer.
That's
Longer, stay warmer.
this.
Is that the new motto?
That's it. Stay warm, stay cozy, live longer. It's certainly an easier ask or pill to swallow than cold plunge, right?
I agree.
So for cold plunging and any new activity, ease into it. So I now in the cold water will do like 3 or 5 minutes, but starting out 30 seconds, see how you do, and build it up. 30 seconds for a few times, then a minute 30. But that's kind of the advice there. There's no like set in stone way to do it, but for most, ease into it, build up. And you'll build the habit that way too. If you try to do it for 3 or 5 minutes out of the gate, it's a miserable experience. Chances are you're probably not going back to it. So you want to get a few wins on the board. For sauna has a little more prescribed, like, this is what you need to do. This is the time, this is the amount of time, this is the temperature. But before we get to that, starting out for sauna, same thing. 5 minutes, see how you feel. If you're new to it, don't be in there for 20 minutes right out of the gate. But if you're looking to get the benefits long term, looking to increase your lifespan, your health span, lower your cardiovascular risk, lower your dementia risk, improve your skin, improve your mental health, then you want to do, the research is at least 4 times a week for 20-ish minutes. 80 to 100 degrees Celsius, which is like 175, 210 Fahrenheit. Hot, toasty. Maybe not great for the perimenopausal crowd. But that is it. Like that's, and 4 times is let's say you can still get benefits 2 to 3 times a week. 4 is where you see really optimal. And then even over that, it is dose dependent. Basically, the more you do it, the better it is. You did it 5 times a week, 6 times a week, good. But really, you want to shoot for 4. And it is, I gave a little spiel at the beginning, Blair. Yes, but it was like sauna, cold plunge, creatine supplementation, all these different things are good and helpful, and I recommend, but they don't take the place of like regular exercise, eating right, sleeping well, good friendships and purpose and all that. Those are the, no, this is it. People see me talking about cold plunge and then I'll get comments like, blah, blah, blah. That's not the only thing to health, and like, that's just a fad. And the truth is, it's a tool. The main things are the exercise, nutrition, sleep, but those things are nice adjuncts. And I would say, go for it. I love hearing that though, because for me, meditation has been a game changer. And I have made it part of my morning routine, and started out tiny, couple minutes, but 10 minutes every morning. And you might be wondering, why? I know it. Because it's like, it's hard, you're doing it now, and it's hard to describe the benefits of meditation to someone who hasn't done it, but I'll try. Susie, if you're looking to adopt a new practice, but it is like, it's so powerful, it's almost trying to tell somebody like why they should read. And you could say, well, people who read before bed, they're more relaxed. Same with like meditation. Oh, well, reading will relax you. Meditation will relax you. But you can't even begin to say the benefits of reading. Like you're going to need it for your job. You're going to learn languages. You're going to converse and make friends. It's going to affect every part of your life. Same with meditation. Once you start the practice, and understand how your mind is working, it becomes a powerful tool. And it's not something that comes overnight. You started January. There's a long way to go. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Wow.
Yep. And still feel like I'm scratching the surface. But it allows you, here's my attempt at trying to explain the benefits. It allows you to realize you're not your thoughts. You are like a energy system that just hears, like, for instance, we hear this noise, right? You and I, Will, we're not, you can't unhear it. It's just happening. And people don't realize that's the same for our thoughts. And yet we hang on to it. We're in the past, we're in the future, right? And that's all just thought. And thought, just like hearing, smelling, it's just ongoing. So people think meditation is where you zen out and you don't have any thoughts, right? But it's not that. It's just not sticking on one. When you're meditating and you start out, and even still, you always catch yourself thinking like, oh, there I go, thinking about that thing. I'm not a good meditator. But that's the practice is continuing to watch yourself, catch yourself in a thought, and then coming back to the present moment. Oh, I can't just stop and just clear no, let it flow. I find meditating outside in nature helpful, because then, okay, my mind's going, why can't I? And then, a bird noise. Back to the present moment. Or the wind picks up. Okay, I'm in a thought loop. So the natural sounds can bring you back. So score 1 for meditating outside if you're not currently, now that the warmer weather, it's nice. So, other thoughts on meditation, that might be it.
It's a good practice to get into.
Yeah. And for people with sleep issues, we see so many people that can't sleep. It's not the answer to sleep issues in general, but some people, that's all it takes, is learning how to meditate, and then they sleep better. Yeah. But it's not just to go, The real practice and goal of meditation is to understand you're not your thoughts. That's it. And recognize thoughts. And it's just like a sound over here. It's like you're never going to not think. It's realizing that you've gone off on a thought pattern and you're not in the present moment. That's the art, and that's the practice, is continuing to come back to just right now. Because most mental battles are not in the now. When you stop and you observe your breath, and it's usually something down the road or in the past, but very rarely, or even the decision you need to make is like in the now. You just have to take that little step of what can I do now. So that to me is the benefit of meditation. Not on daily practice, but for something like sound bath, just because I'm curious in all this stuff. I did a few when I was in Costa Rica, I think, for my first sound bath experience. Yeah, in like a group with, I think, me and 7 other women. I was the only man holding it down for the guys. But it was a beautiful setting, and we were all laying with our heads kind of, the sound, the bowls and things were here, and everybody was like boom, boom, boom. And it was an hour, and it was an amazing, that was an amazing experience. Because I found through the sound bath, speaking of meditation, it was a way to be in the now. Because you just start hearing the sounds and you're flowing with that, And initially there was thoughts racing, just like beginning a meditation. 20 minutes in, I found there wasn't really, it was just the sound, and I was just kind of going with that, which was nice. It was like a bath for my brain.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, sound bath. Huh.
Not altogether.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, not everybody falls asleep, but all 7 people were asleep probably for the last 20 minutes. There's research on all this stuff now too. Like, we feel and react, and a lot of our processes are vibration. So there is evidence on the sound bath. There's new technology called this Apollo Neuro, and it helps manage anxiety by sending little pulses. It's a little wearable, that the body can feel, but you can't hear it. And not hocus pocus either. Like, it's been researched, and not a taser. But the sound bath was cool, and again, my own experience sharing here. You have some insights, and one that I still remember, and that was a couple years ago, but somehow during the sound bath, I just kept reflecting on the COVID times, and I had this narrative of like wanting to leave basically, and but it wasn't really about that. It was really, we did some like integrative work, and really the core was I didn't at that time kind of trust my intuition, and that was through that sound bath experience. That was kind of the take home, was like, listen to it, like, listen to your intuition. It's there, and we do a good job of not listening to it, but something feels off, but anyways, that was, yes, those are real. Anywho, that's the sound bath experience. Cold plunge safety, we need to make sure our heart is healthy. So that's the only big caveat, would be make sure your heart's okay, because it is a stress, right? Heart rate's gonna go, but not in the warmer, colder water. All that's kind of dose dependent too. But for any of the new timers or newcomers to cold plunge, check with your doctor before. One other thing I wanted to do you guys ever deal with anxiety, panic? Have you ever learned about any breath techniques to calm yourself down? So you talked about the box breath, right? Square breath, box breath, but all that is essentially focusing on your breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, right? And it's manipulating your diaphragm, which controls your phrenic nerve, which controls your heart rate. So all these breathing techniques are a way to slow your heart rate down. Slow your heart rate, but more importantly, activate your parasympathetic, right? Your rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system. You may run on more of the sympathetic, the fight or flight. And you want to kick that parasympathetic in. So what happens, another technique is where you have a little bit longer exhale. So instead of the box, let's say it's 4 seconds in, and hold for 4, but then exhale for 6, a little longer. Do it one more time. So in for 4, hold, and then a big exhale, big long exhale. Okay, so hopefully a little more chill, but what you're doing on the inhale, and it works both ways. So on the inhale, diaphragm's expanding, there's more space, and that actually speeds up your heart. There's a little signal, and then, okay, heart rate goes up. So if you wanted to get pumped up or induce almost like an anxiety state, you could do some longer inhales. shorter exhales. And eventually, you actually get pretty jazzed up, which we don't want. So don't do that. But on calming yourself down, and this is what we're going to be speaking at, like with the We're Active folks, we're going to give a talk to the teenagers, because there's a lot of, not overdiagnosing, but there's a lot of anxiety that's being overprescribed and maybe not given the tools to use naturally, right? Like how to calm yourself down. Another comment on the cold plunge in a second, because it's great for anxiety. But so how does it work? So when you exhale, now the diaphragm moves up, there's less space. That same signal now tells the parasympathetic to kick in, and your heart rate goes down. So when you, whatever the technique, box, the 4, 6, 7 technique, if all you focus on is longer exhales than inhales, that will calm you down. Yeah. And it's physiology. Who knew? Hey! But why I like the cold plunge as another tool is, guess what happens when you get in that cold, or if you jump in the river, you're gonna go, oh yeah, you know it. And through, like how I could stay in for 3 or 5 minutes, just through the breath. So the system's now so programmed, I feel the big, and then it's just 1 or 2, and then you settle into that new environment. You tell your brain and your body, like, it's cool.
I'm doing this by choice.
I'm doing this by choice.
We're
Chill.
having fun.
Yeah, this is good for me, right? So that is a great tool, and that's why we're going to do it with the kids 2 weeks from now, and teach them. All right, if you're feeling that, like we're gonna give them some cold buckets or maybe a tub or something, but through the cold, we're going to teach them how to breathe and hopefully how to manage their anxiety. Sauna, same thing. If you're in an intense heat in the sauna, you also can get pretty worked up. So in the sauna, you need to understand how to breathe too, to calm the system down. Real quick, we're giving the talk to the teenagers. We're Active, and I wanted to do a full cold plunge with them in the lake, but that got shot down immediately. Logistics, insurance. Yeah.
I bet you'd have a lot of takers that say yes.
Right?
Do it, but
Yeah.
all that behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to get the same effect. We're going to do a bucket of ice water, and maybe they put their face in it or their hand.
Well, they'll probably think it's for like a challenge. So,
Yes.
nominate people to
Right?
do it.
Ice bucket challenge. All right. Well, any other questions? Questions from the back? Any of the volunteers? Nothing. Cold plunge, sauna, meditation, exercise, nutrition. I would say more than what you're eating before these activities, hydration, more like what you're drinking for both. And certainly like gold star for the sauna, because you're going to be sweating it out. So wipe the sweat away after 10 minutes, because sauna, in addition for the cardiovascular benefits, mental health benefits, lower dementia risk, just to name a few, it's also the best detoxifier. But you're sweating and those toxins are coming out, but if you just leave them on your skin, they will absorb back in. So you want to get to the point when you're sweating and then wipe them so that you actually remove what has just been excreted. 2 more things. No-brainer, I think, for most adults, creatine. Creatine is well studied, years, decades of research, well tolerated, good for the muscles. Back in the day, back in the skits days, the guys would be taking creatine. And it was really like a performance men only, creatine for the gym. We're learning, yes, it's wonderful for your muscles, your bones, but we're learning it's also good for your brain. Improved cognition, improved memory in randomized controlled double-blind trials. So to me, there isn't really a reason why folks should not be taking creatine. And I'm not a big supplements guy. I think a lot of things can be done by diet, exercise, but if you are thinking about a supplement, creatine is something you should consider. 5 to 10 grams a day. Yeah, you just think it's for the muscles, but good for the mind too. And lastly, AI is coming to healthcare, and this is a good thing because you're going to have, in your world, so much data. AI, like continuous glucose monitoring, read by the AI software, giving clinicians just more freedom to just go to the issue or spend time with the patients. There's AI scribes for doctors now where the software will record the visit and then make a note so that the doc or the nurse can be more engaged with their patient. So for clinicians, AI is going to be very useful. For patients, it's going to empower you with your own health. You could have continuous blood pressure, heart rate, all of it analyzed and be alerted even before something happens. So if you don't have any wearable tech yet, you might want to look into some of these AI wearables or health technology products. And it's certainly going to lead to more empowered patients and hopefully better doctor-patient visits, like better conversation, better education, because patients are going to be more educated with ChatGPT. Hey, I have a sore right hip. Act as a physician, give me the 5 top differential diagnoses, imaging, and then you could go to your physician really empowered to have a discussion. You're going to have data sets of labs interpreted by AI. You're going to have eventually radiology reports, observed by AI, pathology reports. Yeah. It will be a good thing. There's some downsides being talked about, like possibly destroying humanity. But you take the good with the bad. But there is tons of upside, and there's a lot of fear-mongering around it, but it will be a valuable tool in healthcare, in education, and again, as long as it doesn't wipe out our human race. Thank you.
On that note.